Well, parliamentary workers across the 36 states and the National Assembly say they have concluded plans to shut down their workplace until their demand for financial autonomy of the legislative arm of government is granted. Well, the workers who on the platform of Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria say their action will be total once the ultimatum issued to state governors to comply with their demand expires midnight on Friday. Well, we're now joined in the studio by the president of the Parliamentary Workers, Mohammed Usman. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Okay, so why exactly are you asking for autonomy? What exactly will autonomy do for parliamentary workers?
Well, first of all, we need to understand it's not just the parliamentary workers. It's the institution itself, the legislative institution. The autonomy gives it the freedom, gives it the independence of the legislature. We don't need to start running back to the government to inquire or pay our salaries, the staff salaries in the state legislatures, or renovate their buildings or something like that. You understand? You go to state houses of assembly today, they are in shambles. In shambles. There is no state assembly today that can boast of even a sick bed. A sick bay, not to even talk of a clinic. And the last time we got ourselves into this mess was two years ago, precisely 2 years ago. We had to shut down because this is a constitutional issue, for God's sake. Yeah. And why is it that some people feel that they are above the Constitution? President Buhari tried to enforce the Order 10, and the whole governors came on him as lions. They wanted to crucify him for that. That delayed the process. At the end of the day, before he left, we had a 3-month shutdown. We shut down the state houses of assembly the last 2 years, demanding for the same financial autonomy. And the former minister of labor in Gige, who was the chief conciliator then, invited all the parties, including the representative of the Governors Forum, the representative of the Speakers Forum, Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, JOSUN, even the Nigerian Bar Association.
So quickly, let me jump in there, because if you speak of financial autonomy, and you just gave us a grim picture of what it is like to the extent that you don't have a dispensary, no sick bay. Are you saying that money is meant for the workers are being diverted?
Okay, you see, it involves a lot of things. You understand. The autonomy will not only give will not give more independence to just the political heads of the legislators. No, it's the whole institutions as a whole. What we mean is that the finances of the assemblies wouldn't go to the governors again. It will be directly to the assemblies from the source, from the office of the Accountant General, because that was what is stipulated, that the office of the Accountant General will release their funds on first line charge to the assemblies. And I think that is where the governors are having issues with, because all these monies are channeled through the states, and the state disburse them. And it's becoming a problem that, as today, the staff salary in the legislature doesn't even come as advent due. That is one. Two, the offices are just there without working materials. Three, you go to the buildings and see they're dilapidated. They can't even renovate their buildings and everything. The last meeting we had, there was an MOU that was signed between the two unions, Josun and Pasan, the Governors Forum, the Speakers Forum, and even the Nigerian Bar Association were represented at that. We signed an MOU, and the terms of MOU was for us to call off the strike and give 45 days interval so that all these issues will be sorted out. The assemblies will go back and create a fund management law bill, which all their resources will be sent directly from the office of the Accountant General. That was done. But for governors to implement it, they reneged. Before President Buhari left, he signed it to law. And we waited and said, okay, fine, since he has finally signed it to law, this will commence, the implementation will commence. As I'm telling you today, it has not commenced.
But
so
you walk within the, sorry,
right.
you walk within the corridors of the National Assembly. Yeah. Are there some kind of lobbying to see that the legislators ensure that this is passed?
We have lobbied severally, even during the constitutional amendment. We did that. We wrote several letters to the Senate President, several letters to the speakers, even asking for a courtesy call so that we could discuss these issues to avert problems.
What response have you
No response.
gotten? So now, if I'm to, based on what you've said, at the executive level, the president, I mean, whether Buhari or, President Tinubu, these funds that should go to the assemblies actually do, I mean, they're released, right? For you, but the state governors just don't release those funds. It's not like the governors are not getting the funds in the first place.
Right now.
Is that what you're saying?
Right now.
Right.
Right now, that has been assented by the president. Two, why we're involving National Assembly in this issue and the nation as a whole is because the Accountant General of the Federation has failed to do his job too. Right. Has failed to do his job too by remitting these funds directly to the accounts of the assemblies.
Have you, as Pasan, tried to investigate why exactly the governors are pushing back on this? What are you coming up with?
It's simple. It's simple. We don't need a layman to tell us this because one, the governors are exerting so much powers to themselves. That is one. Two, during our last strike, we knew how many speakers who stood by us during the strike that lost their positions. That lost their position during this because they wanted the autonomy. Can you imagine if a speaker is going out today, he has to apply to the governor to get his DTA, to be able to travel? It has gotten to this stage that we wrote several letters informing them that at so time, if these things are not implemented, we will shut down the assemblies. We gave a 21 working days ultimatum to all of them, including the Inspector General of Police and the Director DSS, to inform them of the actions we're going to take. Till this very moment, nobody has responded.
So you're going ahead with this strike?
The same Minister of Labour, who was the governor of Plateau State then, was the spokesperson for the Governors Forum when we had that MOU signed. He was there. Yes, agreed that he started the partial implementation in Plateau State. But we are aware that there's some forces who were against him for doing that. But that...
Which forces? I mean...
The Governors Forum, of course.
Okay.
But notwithstanding, I don't think there's
He's in charge
of
now.
Of course, yes. But he's in charge now. And we thought because he is in charge now, he knows what we're going through. So we wrote a letter to him too, to intervene and see, you are in charge now, you are aware of all these issues we're going through. Come up and let's have a discussion and to avoid any strike or anything. But up till this very moment, he has not responded. We gave another 7 days ultimatum, which is lapsing on Friday, and there was no response from any quarters. So we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and shut down, yes.
Well, it still amazes, it beats me how people don't respond to communications. It looks like it's becoming a Nigerian thing. But again, when is this strike? Is it a warning strike or is it an outright strike until something is done?
Well, it's not a warning strike.
It's not a warning strike.
It's a total shutdown. Right. First, the first strike we had was not called off, it was suspended. It was suspended. We made it clearly known when we were signing MOU that this strike is suspended. We can, at any moment, we can reactivate the strike. And we have given them ample time, 2 years.
What exactly are the specific things you're asking for now, apart from autonomy? What are the other, low-hanging fruits, like we always say?
Staff welfare.
Okay.
Is embedded to that too. Staff welfare, if you go to State Houses of Assembly, take a visit someday and go. I visited, in fact, the Speaker's office. We couldn't sit in the Speaker's conference room. Wow. The whole building is dilapidated. The compound, you can't even access it. I can tell you 70% out of the whole houses of assemblies today are dilapidated. So, and in the MOU, the governors tried to con the MOU, the actual MOU we had. They went and doctored it and decided that every capital project will not be handled by the assembly, will be handled by them. That is purchasing of cars for the legislators, just like they said, for the state houses of assembly, renovating their buildings, building, purchases of, could be even, these are capital projects. So what are you turning the assemblies to be?
Well, we'll have to leave it there, Mohammed Usman. Very good question. You've asked $1 million question there. President, Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria. Hopefully, between now and Friday, you'll get the right response that you're looking forward to. Wish you the very best. Thank you so
very
much.
much.